アークドライバー、アークナイス。
Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the premium Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, SHF Kamen Rider Arc Zero. Now, it has been a long time since I've reviewed a SHF Kamen Rider figure. It's not that I haven't been buying any of them, it's just that I have been buying, but every time I try to review one, something just comes up. So it's either a new kit comes out, or a new premium Bandai kit that I actually did pre-order arrives at my house, so that I think those usually takes more priority as well. But now this one I really wanted to have, because once again, one thing that, you know, the more recent Kamen Rider series are doing well is that if there is a main villain boss that takes a form of the Kamen Rider, I think they really do a good job in terms of making them look very evil, but also very appealing as well. I think they did a really good job with Kamen Rider Evolved. I think that's one of the most best examples out there. This one is no exception as well. So as I just mentioned, this is a character which is basically the main villain boss of the Kamen Rider Zero One series. Now, one thing, if I had to mention that this character is odd, is that he doesn't actually have a physical body, so he has to actually need to take control over a body and then transform, as far as I understood and remember the way how it works. Alright, so now let's look at the overall components as usual. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the rider himself. Definitely loving the overall the design here. The black and white color scheme is looking good. I really like those pipings going on. I overall really like the concept where its base factor or form factor is based on the Kamen Rider Zero One, but you can see it's not like incomplete, or it looks like more of a corrupted version. So you can see like all these pipes coming out from its shoulders. You can see that the chest armor is broken here and there, and then you can see the face or head where it's not symmetrical. All right. So other than that, let's see what you're supposed to get. So number one, let's see what you get. So I was very surprised when I opened the box to see that this comes with not only one but 3 weapons. Now keep in mind, for example, Kamen Rider Evolved, while he actually does uses weapons in the main series, the figures, even in his black hole form, there was no weapons that were included. No weapons. And yet this guy, who doesn't actually have his own main weapons, what he does is that he actually can kind of like, I guess, 3D print. He can print out like any weapon that he wants from the show and uses it. And he actually does this. So he actually does print out these 2 weapons, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if he actually did use this weapon or even print out one, but I was surprised to see all 3 weapons included here. So that was like a really huge big bonus for me as well. And then we get a bunch of hands. So hand wise, I guess we'll go over the basic stuff as well. So number one, you get a set. Oops, sorry about that. We get a set of the multi-purpose grip hands. So what I mean by multi-purpose, these are like the most standard, you know, grip hands. And then we get a set of fist hands. We've seen these before. This is very basic. And we get a set of fully open hands like this. And then we get a set of trigger finger hands. So these ones are meant to be used to hold either the shot riser or the attached arrow or the shotgun as well. And then we get 3 unique fingers. So number one, we get a pointing finger. I can't remember if this character actually does something similar with this. And then we get a fully, I'm not sure what you would call this, but yeah, you get like a straight open hand, but not a set, but only for the right hand as well. And then we get this. Now this may look like another trigger finger hand, but no, this is actually meant to hold the handle, the back handle of the attached arrow. So we have the attached arrow, or attack arrow, whatever the pronunciation. You can actually put this part to extend because in the series, when you're using this weapon, the character actually can extend this part out to do a charge shot. So, and this hand is meant to hold the back handle like this. So this isn't the first time we're seeing this. This was actually seen with Kamen Rider Horobi as well, so nothing too new as well. So make sure that you don't lose either one of those pieces as well. There we go. So yeah. So you get 3 weapons from the main series. Pretty much all the weapons that like pretty much like 60% of the weapons that we see in the series, which is a huge bonus as well. Now, for those who have bought or pre-ordered this set, you may have noticed that the item like name or the product name goes SHF Kamen Rider Arc Zero and Arc Effect Parts set. So what are the Arc Effect Parts is right over here. So these are the Arc Effect Parts. So when this guy transforms, or we've seen this before, these like kanjis here like in the main series, but basically when he transforms, there's this like effect that goes on with this guy. So this red, you know, basically this guy is pure evil. Like it's all about despair, horror, like you know, destruction, everything. So these kanjis, I believe they represent those meanings. So yeah, these are just effect parts. Usually these would be on his around his back or near this guy. So I can't say I'm like a fan of these type of stuff, but I'm pretty sure some people will actually enjoy this. All right, now we've seen the components. Now let's go over the basics really quick and do some demonstrations with the equipment. All right, so I think in terms of articulation, if you bought a recent SHF Kamen Rider figure before, you should know what to expect for that. So I'm mostly gonna go for aesthetics at this point. So number one, let's look at the overall head. I absolutely love the head here. It definitely looks like a corrupted Kamen Rider. You can see it sings or shouts out pure evil when, no matter how you look at it. There's no way this is a character that's for justice. There's no way. All right, so once again, they did a really good job on the eye here, the red eye here, and then the other one, it's more of a standard Kamen Rider eye as well. Now, the only part I would say that you need to be careful would be the antenna right over here. That definitely looks like something you can easily like snap off. So just be careful about that. Now the head, once again, we get the standard neck articulation as well, so you can go up and down, and then go side by side or go 360 if you want to do so. Now, even though this guy doesn't have a physical body, he does need to use someone else's body. So yeah, I don't think a human being, or unless he uses an android type, you know, body, I guess he could do that. Once again, we have all these pipes going on here. These are all like the soft rubbery plastic going on here, so that you can slightly bend them. And yeah, they're all connected from the front. There's another one here. Now this one is also one of those rubbery parts, and that they all connect to the back here. So despite how this looks going on here, they do not actually hinder like the arm articulation itself. But the thing is, like, we have this slight semi shoulder armor right over here on the left arm. So since this part doesn't move on its own, moving the arm is going to be slightly limited going on here. So going 360 won't be really easy, but other than that, you do get a good range of motion going on here, and you do get a 360 twist on the arm itself, and bend wise you get your standard bend. Now on the other arm here, now the shoulder arm is attached to the arm here, and you can see here. So when you're moving the arm, I would say be extremely careful. Like, I wouldn't say go 360 on this, because you don't want to snap these parts off, and even so, you can't really go 360 because it's going to be blocking the way and the cables here. So when you're moving the right arm, just be careful. Just be aware that these are actually connected, so just don't overdo it or don't over snap them. So yeah. So the chest absolutely looks really nice. I really like the small details going on, like these cracks here, and overall extremely well done. And now for the belt, I absolutely love this belt. I actually fell in love with the belt design. So the moment they took pre-orders for the DX belt, I actually went for it right away. I didn't even pre-order it from the Bandai Korea website. I ordered from another Japanese website, so I can guarantee myself to get one, and I absolutely loved it. I forgot if I actually made a review of it, but yeah, if I did, I'll leave a link. Anyway, here we have the belt. Now this is just the Arc Zero belt here. So technically you would have a very special progress key, and the moment you insert it, you can actually just flip this out, open it, and transform into Arc 1. But once again, there's no gimmick for that, and they don't actually give you the progress key for that as well. Actually, technically, yeah, because when this guy transforms, you would attach the belt like this, and then you just press a button on top, which is very simple. Once again, standard stuff going on here. I think you could technically insert a progress key in there if you want to do so. And once again, we have all these holsters, but not really anything to hold them as well. And yeah, for the legs, nothing too special going on here. If you've tried Kamen Rider Zero One, you should be aware how it works. You have a nice size swivel going on here, kind of like a double layer here. Make sure you line up all the white lines when you're posing or something like that. And then so going front 90 degrees, backwards 90 degrees is also possible. And bend wise, you get your standard bend. And feet wise, pretty much your standard feet, you can go backwards, forward, and then you should get a somewhat of a pivot. Now, one thing I should mention about the feet is that unlike the previous feet, you can see there's this design, this white part. It's not actually stick to the main feet. It's actually slightly standing upwards. So do not put pressure too much onto the feet, or you are going to break these parts. So just be careful about that. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the figure. Once again, standard articulation, although slightly limited on the arms because, number one, the left shoulder armor here does not actually move because it's connected to the main body, so it's going to hinder the process, but you have less chances of damaging these pipes because the arm is not actually connected to it. Now on the right arm, definitely need to be careful because the shoulder is actually attached to the pipes here, and when your arm moves, it's going to move together. So unless you don't overdo yourself, I don't think these things won't snap off. Alright, so I'll be right back with the first demonstration, and let's see what we got. Okay, here we have the first demonstration here. So number one, I used one of those effect parts going on here on the back, and then I gave it the shot riser on the left hand for once. And once again, I'm doing his when he's actually trying to do like a signature move or one of his finisher moves. All he needs to do is actually press a button that's on top of the belt, believe it or not. So yeah, he actually does this pose a lot. So once again, I think the background, depending on how you use it, it can work very well as a photo shoot item going on here. But once again, because of the surface area of these effect parts on the bottom isn't that large, so you might suffer from this part like wobbling time to time. But still, once again, if you're a big fan of these type of stuff, I think you will enjoy it. And by the way, these parts originally when they came, they are covered up in this small vinyl plastic material, so you need to peel them off. And yeah, these parts that holds the whole effect part on the ground, this is actually included inside the figure as well. Alright, other than that, the shot rider holds very well, and I actually forgot that for the riders that uses the shot rider, they don't actually give you a fully dedicated trigger finger hand. They actually give you a semi-trigger finger hand where the hand is pretty much identical, but the finger here is actually pointing outwards instead of going through the trigger. So I think this is my first time seeing the shot riser being held with a dedicated trigger finger like this, but it's good to know that it actually works very well. And keep in mind, this is the shot riser, so it's just a gun. It doesn't have the overall, it doesn't have the progress key or anything, but yeah, it's still the same mold where you can still slap this onto the belt for the, right riders. Alright, so it holds very well, and I think the pose works out extremely well with the basic hand that's already attached to the figure as well. I think this would have been extremely more cool if like these red parts here would actually glow like in the series, but oh well. Alright, so we've seen the first demonstration here. I'll be right back with the second demonstration. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the second demonstration going on here. So I would like to correct myself regarding one thing, is that I accidentally said like the trigger finger is going to pretty much hold every weapon here. Apparently I misread the manual, and for the attached arrow, you actually need to use one of the multi-purpose grip hands just to hold the arrow. So my bad about that. But once again, I'm pretty much doing doing these poses that are mentioned in the box here. So once again, kind of similar with this pose right over here. So I believe this rider is one of the few riders that actually shot this specific weapon like this, because this actually has this weapon, if I remember correctly from the series, actually does have a bit of a recoil as well. So of course it's mostly for the charge shot, but once again I believe he actually does a charge shot once with this pose with one hand. So that's how powerful this character is. Once again, holding the weapon is no problem as well. I have zero issues with the trigger finger hand, and the attached arrow can also hold the weapon very well. And keep in mind, this attached arrow also works as a close combat weapon, because these parts are actually blades, while this is also a long range weapon going on here. So yeah, it works pretty well. So I think there's only one thing left to show you, and it's to do the arrow charge shot, and we'll end it off there. Now technically I can't remember if this character does a charge shot, but once again, who knows. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the final demonstration here to do the arrow charge shot going on. Once again, I believe this pose, or specific pose, is going to be pretty much like stable to this side, because once again, you do have a set of the multi-grip hands, but to have the specific holding grip for the back handle, you only get that for the right hand. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be holding the arrow with the left arm. I think in real life that's how most people use it as well. Once again, I did struggle with this pose with for Kamen Rider Horobi as well, but once again, depending on the angle and how you look at it, it could look very nice, or it could look a little bit awkward depending on how you look at it. But still, it does work very well. Yeah, and I have zero complaints about this. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the review. So once again, this was the review of the P-Bandai exclusive SHF Kamen Rider Arc Zero. I absolutely really enjoyed this figure as well. Once again, I was really surprised to see that it actually came with 3 weapons. I was expecting this to come with nothing pretty much other than the hand. So yeah, I am very satisfied with the figure. And if you're a big fan of Kamen Rider Arc Zero like me, especially someone who bought the belt, I think you're going to enjoy this figure as well. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to release an Kamen Rider Arc 1, and I'm definitely going to get that if they actually do. Regarding Kamen Rider Zero 2, I did pre-order the Izu version, but I think Bandai just announced or kind of showcased a regular, just, Naruto version, which I'm slightly angry about, but oh well. Anyway, if you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.